can't remember. Soul? Maybe it was in Soul. Can't figure out which mech that was. I just modified one. I wanted to get in it. I can't remember which. It's not this one. Not the Brawler. Not the Grenader. Oh my gosh. Which one is the Rocketeer? Oh man. Can't remember which one I just did. One that had the two, the Assault. Let's try that. I thought that's what I just did, and it had the. Whatever. That was lame. I was surprised we actually won that. I don't think I got any. Nothing. Just failed on that guy. Let's go back to the garage. I gotta look at my mechs. Yeah, I got no points. I took damage, but I didn't do anything. That was horrible. Okay. Loading, loading, loading. Loading, loading. Okay. Syncing account forever. Look at that. 8 dodges. Alright. Max. Now. Was it the Bruiser? No. Brawler? No. Soul? Yeah. I don't know if it's any better than the Vulcan that I have. I don't like that mech as much as my new one. Let me go and try my new one because that one's fun. I'm just going to play now, see what I get. Waiting for Neverwinter to load. Big patch today. Loading, loading, loading. What in the world? It's like a minute to load that. about, is it? Get up there or what? Am I out of fuel? Where? Up there somewhere? Okay, I see ya. Uh-oh. Good one. That was a good one. Nice. Almost had me. See somebody over here. Where you at? Man, good armor. Couldn't outdo him with armor. Yeah, they're cheating. They got mics or something. They're talking to each other. Well, I gotta say, I'm not used to losing in this game, but wow, they gotta be working together. It's a good, teamwork.
Folks, thank you very much for coming this evening, 25th of September 2019. This is the 5G Apocalypse, the London event, and it augurs the beginning of a tour of cities which we are going to be variously involved with ourselves and helping to orchestrate in the coming months I don't suggest it's going to be in the coming years, because we do not, alas, have years for this particular issue. This is an existential crisis. And for those who choose not to look this way, fair enough. But there are many people who are conscious, who are profoundly concerned at what is taking place. And what is taking place, in the simplest possible terms, is what appears to be the early stages of an unprecedented crime against humanity. When a technology, a stealth technology, which is demonstrably, evidentially, a weapon system, a metadata surveillance system, when such an apparatus, such a system is deployed on our streets, in our cities, in our homes, in our schools, classrooms, buses, taxis, public buildings, every square inch of planet Earth is destined to fall within the draconian reach of Skynet. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not within the realm of theoretics. This is factuality. It is stark, it is technicolor, and frankly, it is terrifying. So I salute you, each of you, for coming here this evening and helping support us and make yourselves heard, make us heard. I'm going to play a short clip now to begin. People are still coming in. We've received a lot of calls saying people are stuck in traffic. I apologize to those of you who've had difficulties getting here. But we do need to start now. We've got the UK Police and Crimes Commissioner, Anthony Stansfeld, in Oxford, who's going to be coming in on the line in about an hour from now, and we need to get through a couple of keynote presentations for that time. So without further ado, I'm going to begin a short clip which is excerpted from the film that I made a short while ago called 5G Apocalypse, the extinction event. This one has been reduced down to only a few minutes, about 7 minutes, I think. But this is just to help those of you who are not familiar with the full scope of what we're talking about. This clip is designed to contextualize what these presentations this evening are addressing. Thank you for your patience.
It's important. We're told on the IEEE beamforming document that this technology cooked your eyes like eggs in World War II. And you all need to understand, these are military weapons. These are assault frequencies. If you garner nothing more than that, that's what you need to know. It's microwave radiation warfare, is what this is.
Folks, thank you very much for coming this evening. 25th of September 2019. This is the 5G Apocalypse, the London event, and it augurs the beginning of a tour of cities which we are going to be variously involved with ourselves and helping to orchestrate in the coming months. I don't suggest it's going to be in the coming years, because we do not, alas, have years for this particular issue. This is an existential crisis. And for those who choose not to look this way, fair enough. But there are many people who are conscious, who are profoundly concerned at what is taking place. And what is taking place in the simplest possible terms is what appears to be the early stages of a unprecedented crime against humanity. When a technology, a stealth technology, which is demonstrably, evidentially, a weapon system, a metadata surveillance system, when such an apparatus, such a system is deployed on our streets, in our cities, in our homes, in our schools, classrooms, buses, taxis, public buildings, every square inch of planet Earth is destined to fall within the draconian reach of Skynet. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not within the realm of theoretics. This is factuality, it is stark, it is technicolor, and frankly, it is terrifying. I salute you, each of you, for coming here this evening and helping support us and make yourselves heard, make us heard. I'm going to play a short clip now to begin. People are still coming in. We've received a lot of calls saying people are stuck in traffic. I apologize to those of you who had difficulties getting here. But we do need to start now. We've got the UK Police and Crimes Commissioner Anthony Stansfeld in Oxford, who's going to be coming in on the line in about an hour from now, and we need to get through a couple of keynote presentations for that time. So without further ado, I'm going to begin a short clip which is excerpted from the film that I made a short while ago called 5G Apocalypse, the Extinction Event. This one has been reduced down to only a few minutes, about 7 minutes, I think. But this is just to help those of you who are not familiar with the full scope of what we're talking about. This clip is designed to contextualize what these presentations this evening are addressing. Thank you.
What the 5G is doing and what they say it's doing. We're told on the IEEE beamforming document that this technology cooked your eyes like eggs in World War II. And you all need to understand, these are military weapons. These are assault frequencies. If you garner nothing more than that, that's what you need to know. It's microwave radiation warfare, is what this is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the National Press Club Federal Communications Commission Chairman Tom Lee. It's an honor to be here at the National Press Club. The first generation wireless 1G was voice. The second generation 2G allowed both talk and text. Third generation 3G, the internet, in a limited way. And today's technology, 4G, completed that digital migration. But if anyone tells you that they know the details of what 5G is going to become, run the other way.
Boy, let's get a breakdown first. Tell the people what this really is. This is the 5G transmission device. That's a hell of a piece, that, isn't it? These are the uninsurable transmitters. Let's get a good look at that, guys. You see, I know there's quite a few experts who want to see more detail about the transmitters and the chipsets. Let's have a good look, boys. This is the control management system, mass radiation antenna there. You see that? What is this Here's the rear antenna here. What's that? This is for here's the rear, right? And you'll see it's got a drive instruction chip. One chip. Look at the chipsets on this. This is, you have to screw in the move. So we just want to get it down to sit. Tell you what I think, but I said to them, educated group part of school, but send them to prison. So that's the easiest way, prison's probably better. Right, that's 5G time. 5G volume.
You must consider the whole part played by electricity in nature. Human beings cannot go on developing in the same way in an atmosphere permeated on all sides by electric currents and radiation. It has an influence on the whole development of man. This life of men in the midst of electricity, notably radiant electricity, will presently affect them in such a way that they will no longer be able to understand the news which they receive so rapidly. The effect is to damp down their intelligence. Such effects are already seen today. Even today, you can notice how people understand the things that come to them with far greater difficulty than they did a few decades ago. Rudolf Steiner, 1924. Rudolf Steiner noted that in 1924, since then our atmosphere has become far more permeated with electric waves of widely diverse types. There's no doubt now that electric waves, electromagnetic forces, cause direct biological effects. There's thousands of peer-reviewed papers on this subject. There's no doubt about it. But what are these effects? How are they affecting us? What can we do about it? We're now at a stage where we're putting in what's called 5G, which is a special type of broadcast for high-density information transfer. And it turns out that this is the same frequency bands that are used in the crowd dispersal weaponry.
Very few cases proved at all. Unfortunately, an incident out in Iowa. Gentlemen, practice these words in front of the mirror. Although we are constantly exploring the subject, currently there is no direct evidence that links cell phone usage to brain cancer.
There are dozens and dozens of studies that show beyond any doubt what this radiation is doing to our sperm. Now, if you take the cell phone out of your pocket, the sperm will recuperate within 3 to 4 months. What would not recuperate would be the damage to the DNA of the sperm. That is irreparable. The wife of the ex-governor of Indiana was diagnosed with glioblastoma, same brain tumor Ted Kennedy has and John McCain has. If you look at John McCain's heart, this is a cell phone brain tumor. LeBron James, one of our sports people, had a salivary gland tumor. That is another cell phone tumor. You didn't hear about it because immediately after that was discovered, he was paid by Samsung to become their spokesperson.
Faster, better, more reliable internet. That's the promise of 5G technology, but there is also the peril. Health hazards associated with radio frequency that is higher also and requires more transmitters and antennas. And the stark, simple fact is the health hazards are unknown and unstudied. Chairman, thank you for having this hearing. 5G, as you well know, also uses higher frequency waves that don't travel as far and will rely on a network of hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of small cell sites. And the question then is, are there any health implications, any public safety implications to those additional sites that are likely to be located close to homes, schools, workplaces, and closer to ground? Correct?
Correct, Senator.
Yes. So, my question for you, particularly Mr. Gillen and Mr. Perry, how much money has the industry committed to supporting additional independent research? I stress independent research. Is that independent research ongoing? Has any been completed? Where can consumers look for it? and we're talking about research on the biological effects of this new technology.
Thank you, Senator. I think, thank you for your focus on the issue. Safety is paramount, and as you alluded to, we rely on the expert agencies, rely on the findings of the FDA and others as to the requirements to keep all of us safe. There are no industry-backed studies, to my knowledge right now. Happy to visit with you as to what opportunities you think there needs to be more studies, and we're always for more science. We also rely on what the scientists tell us.
So essentially, the answer to my question, how much money? Zero.
I can certainly follow up with you, Senator. To my knowledge, there's no active studies being backed by industry.
Anybody else?
Hi guys from America. I assume that a stage attack will happen in Seattle on November the 3rd, 2019. That will kill thousands of people. I know that this theory sounds absolutely crazy, but it cannot be a coincidence that
Start or what?
for many years, all the media. Hi guys from America. I assume that a stage attack will happen in Seattle on November the 3rd, 2019. That will kill thousands of people. I know that this theory sounds absolutely crazy, but it cannot be a coincidence that for many years, all the media have hinted that an attack is taking place in Seattle. It is not the first time that all media announced a staged attack in advance. Many years before the staged terrorist attacks in New York, the collapse of the Twin Towers was announced in all media. There are thousands of examples and hints. In order to show all the hints to the collapse of the Twin Towers, which were placed in the media before 9/11, I would have to create a 10-hour video. Such large staged attacks can only be realized with secret agreements. The biggest secret society in existence is the Freemasons. They have millions of members worldwide. But this video is not about 9/11, but about the attack in Seattle. This is the city's most famous landmark, the Space Needle. Due to the many hints to the football stadium or the football game, it is assumed that during the football game, the attack takes place. Here is the football stadium, the Century Field lane. In the course of the video, I will show you many film clips and other references that relate to Seattle. Let's start with the movie Chaos. The place of the movie is Seattle, Washington.
Okay, let's go around the horn. Check. 2 count. 3, check.
This building looks like the Space Needle. And right in the next scene, we see a detective looking at his watch, and where the watch hands are pointing 11/3, November the 3rd. I fast forward. We just saw the clock, which is a code for the 3rd November, then follows the fire blast. That is a clue to the Seattle attack. And here's another hint. What does that remind you of? This looks like the Space Needle. I fully understand that when you say that all this is quite far-fetched. That's why I'm going to show you many more examples in this video to make you realize that this is not a coincidence. Because in all media there are hints which suggest that Seattle will be destroyed. Let's move on to the next movie, War Games. This film is about a boy who, without knowing it, hacked into the US Defense Command Center. He wants to play a nuclear game and has no idea that he starts real attack scenarios. I will show you an impressive scene that relates to Seattle.
Shall we play a game? Perhaps I do the want. I'll be the Russians. List primary targets. Who should we do first? Let's see. How about Las Vegas? Las Vegas? Great. What next? Seattle. Yeah!
For the following scene, an important information is necessary. When referring to the date in the media, often the European spelling is used. In Europe, you write the day and then the month. In America, it is the other way around. There you write first the month and then the day. But whether 3/11 or 11/3 is displayed, it doesn't matter. Both dates refer to November the 3rd, 2019.
Hey, you maggots understand that?
And in the movie, War Games, there are several hints to the date of 3rd November, which is displayed in European spelling. I will show you some excerpts from the movie Red Dawn. The film begins with a football game related to the Seattle Seahawks football game, which hosts a home game on November the 3rd, 2019. Later in the movie comes the following scary scene. And a few seconds later, he gets attacked. The following is a scene from the Swift film, Supervise.
Primär Rex, och vi hade något en konferens. Lustigt att liga så kan han kvar som Seattle Seahawks. Aus Angst vor Gefangennahmen glaubte ich, dass Liga so.
In all 4 films, an attack on Seattle was success. The animated series, The Simpsons, presents many hidden clues about the attacks in Seattle. It's almost general education that The Simpsons often predict the future correctly. That's because Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, is a Freemason of the highest position and is privy to the gloomy plans of the conspirators of the world. In 1997, he left a coded reference for other Freemasons with this image. The coded means this picture, coupon, so, coup on, the Twin Towers on 9/11. Matt Groening has also referred to Seattle in many episodes. I show you the most striking example. The scary thing is that a weapon will be used in Seattle that will make people burn very badly.
That's a possibility, or it could be that agitating hyper-agitation through 5G that's had to turn up people's moods like in Kingsman. Which is right here.
For more science, we also rely on what the scientists tell us.
So essentially, the answer to my question, how much money? Zero.
I can totally follow up with you, Senator. To my knowledge, there's no active studies being backed by industry today.
Anybody else know of industry commitments to back research, fund it, support it, to ascertain scientifically the health effects?
No, I'm not aware of any.
So there really is no research ongoing. We're kind of
I just
blind,
you know,
as far as health and safety.
come across this scene in the movie that I liked, and I figured, hey, I'll watch the movie.
Come on, can you hear me? Harry! Harry, what the heck is going on? Somebody know.
I didn't expect it to be that effective.
What kind of response are we talking?
100%.
So everyone's been affected, whether they have a SIM card or not. And
So whether they have a SIM card or not, they'll be affected.
it has been available by application.
Not yet.
So it kills pretty much everybody.
Now I'm going to tell you.
And they were killing each other also. And all due to the frequencies of them turning up the SIM card. And then the people that have the SIM card obviously are the ADHD people that do not have the SIM card. And it makes everybody hyper aggressive.
What did you do to me? I had no control. I killed all those people. I wanted to. No, it isn't. In simple terms, it's a neurological wave that triggers the centers of aggression and switches off inhibitors. Transmitted to your nasty free SIM card, sir. It's a neurological wave that triggers the centers of aggression and switches off inhibitors. Transmitted to your nasty free SIM card.
To the internet.
This will be similar to what you see in a scene from Terminator 2. As I said, McGranny predicts incredibly often the future correctly.
The soothsayers at The Simpsons have done it again. This time, they correctly predicted the ending to the most recent episode of Game of Thrones. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet, this might give a little bit of the plot away.
Do you understand the double meaning? They did it again, but this time in real life. At this point, I would like to show you more pictures of Seattle related to fire.
I am the god of hell.
If there had been a crash. And now, look at the background of the Space Needle, as if there had been a crash shortly.
Background or something?
Before, as already mentioned in the first sentence of the song, weeks have passed since the mysterious Seattle crash.
Weeks have passed since the mysterious Seattle crash.
In all media there are hints that will happen something in Seattle on November the 3rd, 2019. Here is even a band called 311. Here we have a nice pillowcase that you can buy online. On November the 3rd at 1:05 p.m. the Seattle Seahawks play against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There are many hints that the attack will happen during the football game. The game will be played in Seattle and start at 1:05 p.m. The time difference between Seattle and Germany is 9 hours. What I'm going to explain to you now is just amazing. When the game starts in Seattle at 1:05 p.m., it is 10:05 p.m. in Germany. There's a series in Germany called Countdown zum Weltuntergang, which means in English, Countdown to the End of the World. This series was first broadcasted on November the 3rd, 2017. The series is presented with the following text: Countdown to the End of the World, Bye-bye Humanity, Hello Apocalypse, 10 episodes from 3rd November, every Friday from 10:05 p.m. in German, broadcast on N24. Can that be a coincidence? It was first broadcast at 10:05 p.m. in Germany. Exactly 2 years later, to the minute, the Seattle Seahawks play against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Legend of Boone was the secondary of the Seattle Seahawks between 2012 and 2018. Boone is therefore a metaphor for an attack. For the next scene, it is important to know that November the 3rd, 2019 is in the 44th calendar week. Pike Place Market is a famous farmers market in the heart of Seattle. Look at the clock. The watch hands point to the 4. Together, it's 44, the 44th week. Ruby falls down, and now, look at his bag. There's written, Otre. Again, clearly indicated to us with the jersey and the place. And right after that, we see the scene from the 3rd season, where the reporter once said, until one fateful Sunday in November. Why do they show this scene again in a later episode? Video with the title, The Bad Football. And close beside it, people are thrown in the air. Then, Homer looks at the football video. Listen carefully again.
Tundra Soldier Field. For 6 seasons and 2 Pro Bowls, he grazed on the tasty green turf of the end zone. Until one fateful Sunday in November, when the gazelle was stopped in his tracks by a big cat named Wayne Krzyzewski.
Until one fateful Sunday in November. The 0 is just a placeholder. It is important to understand that the edit often only displays the date encoded. There are many other examples where the 0 is just a placeholder, but in this video I will just show you this example. So by deleting the 0 in the background, only the digit 3 remains. And the commentator says, on a fateful Sunday in November. That results together November the 3rd. This is a strong reference to 11-3 and to the year 2019 we come later. In the 10th season, episode 12, I found something interesting. Look.
A coupon book? What am I going to do with this piece of junk? Happy birthday, Dad.
Wow! A value-quote coupon book!
Bart is in her post office and gets a coupon book. And the code, Q-on, is nothing new. That was already a code for the state terrorist attack in New York. But new is that this is a whole coupon booklet. Translated it means it will really boom. And a little later, Homer is in his favorite pub watching a football game. We see on the place the 30, the 0 is again a placeholder, and then we see the 11. 11-3 was again clearly indicated to us with the jersey and the place. And right after that, we see the scene from the 3rd season, where the reporter once said, until one fateful Sunday in November. Why do they show this scene again in a later episode, 7 years later? Because this scene is important. This scene was used to leave an important message to other initiators, the date. But the most amazing thing is still coming, because even the year is announced coding. Homer goes with his friends to a football game by bus. Some weird guy called Ruby comes out of nowhere and wants to go by bus, but they do not let him ride. When trying to get on the bus, Ruby falls down, and now look at his bag. There's written, Otre Arm. What does this remind you of? Why is not the first letter of the 2 words clearly visible? Here we see an indistinct big G. Who's not familiar with the subject of Seattle will now think that it should be called Notre Dame. But if you are familiar with Seattle, you should be able to easily decode that code. We only need to exchange the G with the D. And we already know why Ruby carries such strange letters on his bag. Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the code to get it started in Seattle this year. In Notre Dame it burned heavily this year on 15th April. The fire Notre Dame announced the year. And this picture, this Otre Arm, appears in the episode where Homer gets a coupon book from his son, and in the same episode where we are once again reminded until one fateful Sunday in November. Hallelujah! There's a Japanese band called World Order, and this band wrote a song titled Let's Start World War III. Let's take a look at the releasing date of this on YouTube. 11th week everywhere. As a reminder, the song is called Let's Start World War III. And what do you think? Where should the Third World War start? In Seattle. In this song, the following text appears for a few seconds. Let's start World War III. Look at the time. The text appears in the 3rd minute and 44th second of the video. The 3rd day in the 44th calendar week. Here we see the cover of the computer game World War III. If we mirror this cover, the title looks similar to the date in European Spanish. 3/11. Now I want to show you many pictures of the Space Needle. And all these pictures are associated with the disaster. Pictures can give free rein to the imagination. Many superheroes have already visited the Space Needle. Often the Space Needle is displayed in green or associated with the green color. That's because Seattle's nickname is Green Emerald City.
Green, Green. I know how to spell green, Green.
Even the news warn us that in Seattle, millions of people will die.
Americans die. After a nuclear holocaust. Or after a million die. That's where we are. This is not an exaggeration.
Not only does he say a million die in Seattle, she says that is not an exaggeration.
After 100,000 Americans die. After a nuclear holocaust. Or after a million die. That's where we are. This is not an exaggeration.
But there's one clue that is paramount and dwarfs all other clues. It's the Economist cover from 2015. The Economist is a magazine that is published by the Rothschild dynasty. There are a lot of codes and hints on this cover that are always related to Seattle. I cannot explain to you in a few minutes the great importance of this cover. In both of my videos, Ode to Humanity, the fake attack on Seattle, the great importance of this cover. Rothschild dynasty. There are a lot of codes and hints on this cover that are always related to Seattle. I cannot explain to you in a few minutes the great importance of this cover. In both of my videos, Ode to Humanity, the fake attack on Seattle on 3rd November 2019, and Seattle, the pattern is complete. I went into detail on the Economist cover and its symbols. Please have a look at these videos. The links can be found in the video description. Finally, I would like to show you a few excerpts.
You're almost done. Click the Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
Loud.
You're almost done. Click the Add to Chrome button, then click You're almost done. Click the Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
These newer versions.
You're almost done. Click the Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
It's not even the right program, so.
Only possible if many people work on it. So you need a secretive network. The largest secret society on this planet are the Freemasons. They have millions of members worldwide. What is being discussed in the lodges must be concealed. You can certainly imagine what happens if someone in the covenant is not silent. Before 9/11, thousands of patterns were marketed in the media. A television series that has an extremely large number of patterns is The Simpsons, whose creator, Matt Groening, is a top Freemason. And we can ask Matt Groening, who is ruling the country.
They're all covered with filthy germs, aren't they, Smithers? Why, what do you mean, sir?
Freemasons run the country!
Ew. Here we see a prime example of how a pattern works. Imagine you are a Freemason and planning an attack on the World Trade Center. Then you have to code that, of course. After all, nobody should hear that. That's why they communicate about symbols and hidden signs. So what I mean is, you cannot assume that the Freemason write on the front page of a magazine,
This year, America came to the United Nations stronger than we have ever been before. The United States has brought our economy to a level that we have never seen. The most jobs that we've ever had, best unemployment numbers we've ever had. Wages are up and inequality is down. In a week of active and ambitious diplomacy here at the United Nations, America renewed our friendships. We advanced our values greatly and made clear to everyone that the United States will always defend our citizens. We also made incredible strides in national security. We've achieved historic asylum cooperation agreement that my administration is standing up for the American people like no administration has in many, many years. And we're standing up for American prosperity, American security, and the American way of life. And together with our friends and partners, we're building a more peaceful, prosperous, and promising future.
We have this last session here that really not supposed to be about me, but sort of more sort of hearing from those who didn't talk or who didn't get a full chance to talk as well. I think one thing that bringing all of the fabulous panelists and the presenters together, our interest in doing this was to spur this conversation and to hear more about ways in which data disaggregation can be useful, and I think we've heard a lot about that. And what people think future steps might be, or where, again, those of you who haven't had a chance to speak and want to sort of lend some of your thoughts on what you've seen today and what you think might be what you consider a priority, I think it's useful for the rest of us to hear, those of us who have organized this and who have sort of been thinking about it ourselves, but to hear sort of outside perspectives. So if you want to just, please come up to one of the mics and let us know. Oh, and introduce yourselves as well, please.
Everyone, I'm Robert from the Virginia Department of Health. So one of the things that I'm taking away from this, and I work a lot with population health data, that's the division I work in, is we do a lot with community health assessments. All of our health districts and health departments are encouraged, kind of voluntold to get accreditation, which means they have to conduct a community health assessment, as well as all the nonprofit hospitals by ACA tax regulations also have to complete them. And so this is really important because that means we're trying to get a lot of county data. In Virginia, independent cities are also counties, so Charlottesville, Richmond are counties for Virginia. So here, listening is very helpful because we're trying to do better at making sure data is available at a county level, and then trying to also do some race from there, but seeing that that's insufficient and looking beyond just the categories that we have, but also trying to see how we can take sort of these ideas further. I thought the Morgan data was very interesting. How do we use that for health equity and health disparities? That's something that we're very interested in, but it's also can be difficult when a lot of this data is presented at a nationwide or state level. How is that helpful for communities? And that's one of the things that I heard a lot is I would look at the data sort of from an academic perspective at a state level, and then I would take that to the people that come to the meetings or who are representing hospitals. They're like, this isn't very useful for us because it doesn't represent our community, it just represents the state or the nation. And so how do we make that useful from allocating health resources or focusing everything we do? Because there's a lot of money that's spent across this, I'm sure, across the nation, not just in Virginia. But it's a big question for us.
more I'm starting to think that the real scandal here is not Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. The real scandal is that there was something that the Democrats and the deep state operatives were doing out of Ukraine against the Trump campaign in 2016, and Donald Trump is on to it, and he's making phone calls, and he's trying to get to the bottom of it to expose it, and they're absolutely paranoid that he's ready to out them. And so what did they do? They flipped it, and they said, oh, we're going to impeach you. You're calling foreign heads of state trying to investigate. Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to investigate what U.S. intelligence agencies, the British intelligence agencies, the Australian intelligence agencies were doing in collusion to help Hillary Clinton and block Donald Trump in 2016. That's the real scandal. It's not Hunter Biden. That's a minor scandal. That's really not the main story. The main story is that there was something going on in Ukraine, and that's why President Trump is alluding to the CrowdStrike server being located in Ukraine. Because possibly Hillary Clinton's emails are there. The Podesta emails. Wasn't the Podestas working in Ukraine?
Yes,
Tony, was it Tony?
Tony Podesta. That's right.
And isn't it? He's going to prison, right?
No, the Justice Department said they investigated, and they're not going to be filing charges as of last week.
Oh, he got off.
But Paul Manafort's in jail, not for being involved in the Ukraine, but on bank and tax fraud charges. But the whole reason why his name came up was in the Russian investigation, and the only connection they could find with Paul Manafort was in the Ukraine. So this whole thing stinks, Rick.
So what could be in Ukraine? What is Donald Trump sniffing? What does he know? What does Rudy Giuliani know? What are they after that is terrifying the Democrats and the rats? The rats in the White House, the rats in the CIA, the rats in the FBI, the rats in MI6. I'm not talking about all the agencies. I'm not talking about everybody in those agencies. I'm talking about people inside those agencies that have been running a covert psychological warfare operation to destabilize Donald Trump. What is he onto that they're terrified about?
That the DNC server was sitting in the Ukraine.
Well, think so. Think bigger than just the DNC server. We've known for a while both parties run, they run opposition research. They run operation against the opposite party, trying to dig up dirt, trying to